There's a guy named Dale who runs a shop outside of San Antonio, Texas. He's been turning wrenches for 31 years. He drives a 2001 Ford F-150 with the 5.4-liter Triton V8 under the hood. That truck has 287,000 miles on it. Not 87,000, not 187,000. 287,000 miles on an F-150 that's old enough to vote. Every single week, Dale gets at least 2 or 3 calls, usually from guys he knows, other mechanics, former customers, a few ranchers from down the road, and they all ask the same question. They want to know if he's finally ready to sell that old F-150. Every single week he tells them no. Not today, not this month, not this year. Dale's shop sees Ford F-150s roll through on the flatbed every week. Not old ones, new ones, 2008s, 2010s, 2012s. Trucks with the 5.4-liter 3-valve Triton that came out after 2004. Trucks that cost their owners a lot of money when they were bought and now cost them even more money to keep running. Broken timing chains, spark plugs snapped off flush in the cylinder head, cam phasers clunking like a diesel tractor at idle. He fixes those trucks for a living. His own 2001 sits outside. It starts every morning. It never breaks. He does basic maintenance and drives it. He has not had a major repair on that truck in the 9 years he's owned it. That contrast between what breaks down in his shop and what he drives home every night tells you everything you need to know about why he will never sell that F-150. Dale is not unique. He is not a special case or a lucky outlier. There is a pattern here. There is a reason that the people who know the most about what breaks, the mechanics, the fleet managers, the long-haul drivers who've been around long enough to see the data, these are the people who are quietly holding on to 2001 F-150s and refusing to let them go. That pattern has a name. People who know about it call it the Triton loophole. And once you understand it, you'll never look at a used truck the same way again. My name is Wade Tucker. I've been around pickup trucks my entire adult life. I'm not a salesman. I'm not here to pitch you anything. I'm here to tell you what the salesman at the dealership will never tell you because it's not in his interest to tell you. If you want to hear more of this, if you want to know what the people who actually work on trucks know about trucks, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit the bell so you don't miss it. And drop a comment down below telling me what year your F-150 is and how many miles you've got on it. I want to know what you're working with. Now let's get into why the 2001 F-150 is one of the most quietly coveted used trucks in America, and why the people who know the most about engines are the last ones who will ever agree to sell you theirs. The engine in the 2001 F-150 is either the 4.6-liter Triton V8 or the 5.4-liter Triton V8. Both of these engines are 2-valve configurations, 2 valves per cylinder. 1 intake, 1 exhaust. That's it. Simple, proven, robust. Ford had been building versions of this basic architecture for years before 2001, and by that point the design had been refined and debugged in ways that matter enormously over the long haul. The 2-valve 5.4-liter Triton is one of the most durable truck engines Ford ever put in an F-150, full stop. When people say these engines can go 300,000 or 400,000 miles, they are not exaggerating and they are not repeating a rumor. They are repeating documented real-world experience across hundreds of thousands of trucks. The key word in that sentence is maintenance. The engine will do that mileage if you do your part. If you change the oil on schedule, keep the coolant system clean, and pay attention to the timing chain tensioners, this engine will outlast nearly any truck you can buy new today. Now in 2004, Ford changed the 5.4-liter Triton. They went to a 3-valve configuration, 3 valves per cylinder instead of 2. On paper, that sounds like an improvement. More airflow, slightly better efficiency, a little more power. In practice, it introduced one of the most notorious engineering problems in modern truck history. The spark plugs in the 3-valve 5.4-liter were designed with a 2-piece construction. Over time, and sometimes even when the engine is relatively new, those plugs seize in the aluminum cylinder head. When a technician tries to remove them, the plug breaks. The shell stays in the head. You now have a broken spark plug lodged in your engine. Getting that out is not a simple job. You need specialty tools. You need time. You need skill. And depending on the shop and how badly the plug is stuck, you're looking at anywhere from $500 on the low end to $2,000 or more per plug if things go badly. You have 8 cylinders. Do that math and let it sit with you for a minute. That is the 3-valve spark plug problem. It is real. It is widespread. It affected millions of F-150s built between 2004 and 2008, and it has cost Ford truck owners an enormous amount of money. The 2001 F-150 with the 2-valve Triton does not have this problem. The plugs come out the way they're supposed to come out. You use a socket wrench, you pull them, you put new ones in, you move on with your life. It takes an hour on a Saturday morning. That difference alone, just that one difference, is enough to make a knowledgeable mechanic choose the 2001 over a 2006 every single time, assuming both trucks are clean and reasonably priced. But the spark plug issue is not the only thing that separates the 2-valve from the 3-valve. The 3-valve 5.4-liter also came with variable cam timing, cam phasers. These are mechanical components that allow the engine to adjust valve timing on the fly for better efficiency. When they work fine. When they start to go, you get a rattle at startup. It sounds like a bag of marbles rolling around under your hood. Phaser replacement is not cheap. It's a significant job. On the 2-valve 2001 engine, there are no cam phasers. There is no variable valve timing. There is nothing there to fail because Ford didn't put it there. Simpler is more reliable. That's not an opinion. That's a pattern you see play out across every mechanical system ever built. The maintenance you actually need to do on a 2001 F-150 with the 5.4-liter is not complicated. The timing chain tensioners deserve your attention, especially if you're buying a truck that's already got 150,000 miles on it. These are wear items. On the 2-valve engine, they are accessible, and the replacement is a legitimate DIY job for someone with moderate mechanical experience. You'll want to flush the coolant system. Aluminum engines don't tolerate neglected coolant, and older trucks often have coolant that's been in there longer than it should be. Change your differential and transfer case fluids if it's 4-wheel drive. Keep fresh oil in it. Use a quality filter. That's essentially the maintenance list. That's what a truck that was designed to last looks like. The loophole itself is not complicated. The loophole is simply knowing which side of 2004 you need to be on. That's it. That's the whole thing. Model year 2001, 2002, or 2003, 2-valve Triton, no spark plug ejection problem, no cam phasers, proven long mileage engine. Model year 2004 and newer with the 5.4-liter 3-valve, you've entered a different territory with different risk. Most people shopping for a used F-150 don't know this. They look at price, they look at mileage, they look at what the truck looks like in the photos. They don't know that a 2006 F-150 with 120,000 miles represents a completely different set of potential problems than a 2001 F-150 with 180,000 miles. They don't know to ask which version of the Triton is under the hood. So when a private seller or a used car lot shows them a clean 2007 F-150 at a decent price, they buy it. They don't know what they're buying into. The people who do know, the mechanics, the truck enthusiasts, the guys who read the forums and do their own work, these people search specifically for pre-2004 2-valve trucks. They know that a 2001 or 2002 in clean condition is worth more than the Kelley Blue Book value suggests. They know they're not getting just a truck. They're getting an engine that has a track record of going the distance without the expensive pitfalls of the later 3-valve design. They pay accordingly. And then they hold on to them, because once you have a good one, you understand what you have. The reason this information isn't widely advertised is straightforward. Dealerships don't make money selling you a $6,000 used truck from 2001. They make money selling you a $52,000 new F-150 with an 8-year loan and rust-proof coating and an extended warranty you'll probably never fully use. The finance office at a dealership is where the real profit lives. Every month you're making an $800 payment. They've already made their money. They have no reason to tell you that a 23-year-old Ford with a 2-valve V8 might genuinely be the smarter purchase for your situation. That conversation doesn't put money in their register. Independent mechanics know the truth because they see the truth every day. The truck that comes in on the flatbed is almost never a 2001. It's almost always something newer, something more complicated, something with more potential failure points built in by design. The 2001 sits outside in the parking lot of the shop, and it never needs to come inside. Look at what mechanics personally drive and you'll learn more about trucks than any review website will ever tell you. This is not anecdote, this is a pattern. When you ask mechanics, guys who have worked on every make and model for decades, what they personally choose to drive, you hear certain answers over and over. Simple, proven engines. Older body-on-frame trucks from before the era of complex electronics and problematic engineering changes. Trucks that were designed to be worked on, not trucks designed to maximize dealer service revenue. The 2001 F-150 fits that description precisely. A mechanic who drives one is making a statement about what he trusts with his own time and money. He's not driving it because it's the cheapest option. He's driving it because he's seen enough trucks fail to know which ones don't. When Dale in San Antonio gets those weekly calls asking if he'll sell his 2001, his answer tells you more about that truck than any spec sheet ever could. Long-haul drivers have a similar relationship with these trucks. People who put serious miles on their vehicles for work, contractors, inspectors, agricultural workers, sales reps covering rural territory. These people learn quickly what holds up and what doesn't. When you're running a truck hard across unpaved county roads for 10 months a year, you cannot afford to be stranded. You need something that will start in January and still start in July. The two-valve 5.4-liter Triton has earned a reputation in those circles because it simply keeps going. You hear it from the guys who stake their livelihood on the reliability of their vehicle. Fleet operators have noticed too. Small fleet managers who run work trucks, landscaping companies, construction outfits, small utilities contractors. Some of them have specifically gone back to buying 2001, 2002, and 2003 F-150s when they come up clean at auction. The math works out for them. A $7,000 truck with a two-valve Triton has a known maintenance profile and a known failure pattern. The truck will likely need timing chain tensioners at some point. It'll need spark plugs eventually. That's a predictable cost. A newer truck with a three-valve engine has unpredictable costs. Costs that can blindside you when a plug breaks off flush in the head right in the middle of a job. The social proof here is significant. When the people who see the most trucks fail are the people who refuse to let these trucks go, that means something. It's the equivalent of a financial advisor you trust telling you where he personally keeps his own money. The bias is revealed by the behavior. Mechanics keep 2001 F-150s. That is the data. Finding a clean 2001 F-150 today takes some work because the people who know what they have aren't exactly putting them up on AutoTrader for a quick sale. The best place to look is rural, farm country, agricultural areas where trucks were used for actual work on actual land and not beaten up on pothole-riddled city streets. Craigslist in smaller towns and agricultural counties is still one of the best sources. Facebook Marketplace in rural areas. Estate sales and farm auctions sometimes surface these trucks, and that's where you can occasionally find one that's been sitting in a barn with low miles because the original owner bought it new and drove it light. When you find a candidate, clean means something specific. On a 23-year-old truck, you need to crawl underneath and look at the frame. Rust is the enemy on these trucks. The cab, the bed, the body panels. Surface rust you can manage. Frame rust is a different conversation. Look at the frame rails, the cross members, the areas behind the rear wheels. If the frame is compromised, walk away regardless of how good the engine sounds. A solid frame is non-negotiable. Under the hood, look for oil leaks around the valve covers. These are common and inexpensive to fix, but they tell you whether the truck has been maintained or ignored. Check the coolant. Open the radiator cap when the engine is cold and look at what's in there. Brown, rusty, or oily coolant tells you the cooling system has been neglected. A clean, properly maintained cooling system will have coolant that looks like it belongs in there. Start the engine cold and listen. You want it to start clean. You don't want ticking that takes more than a few seconds to go away. You don't want smoke coming out of the tailpipe after it warms up. What you should expect to pay right now for a clean, rust-free 2001 F-150 with the 5.4-liter in solid mechanical condition is somewhere in the range of $5,000 to $9,000. You might find one at the lower end if you're patient and willing to look in rural areas. You might pay toward the upper end for a particularly clean example with documented maintenance history and low miles for the year. If someone is asking more than $9,000 for a standard cab or regular 2001 F-150 without something genuinely exceptional about it, that's on the high side. But clean examples in good shape are getting harder to find because fewer of them are available than there used to be. The trucks don't disappear because they wear out. They disappear because the people who have good ones stop selling them. That scarcity is, perversely, one more piece of evidence for why you want one. Now let's talk about money in a way that a dealership salesman will never talk to you about money. A new 2024 or 2025 F-150 with a decent trim package and a few options is going to run you somewhere around $50,000 to $58,000. You're not going to pay cash for that. You're going to finance it. At current interest rates on a 6 or 7 year loan, you're looking at monthly payments in the range of $800 to $1,000. Over 7 years, you will pay somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 in interest alone on top of the purchase price. That new truck will depreciate significantly in the first 3 years. By the time you finish paying it off, it's worth considerably less than you paid. A 2001 F-150 at $7,000 is essentially done depreciating. It is what it is. If you put $2,000 into it over the next 5 years, timing chain tensioners, spark plugs, tires, a brake job, your total investment is $9,000 over 5 years. There are no monthly payments. There is no interest accruing. The insurance is a fraction of what you'd pay on a new truck. If something unexpected happens to the truck, you're not upside down on a loan. You own it outright, and you make a decision about what to do next. The financial argument is not even close. And this is before you factor in what the new truck is going to cost you in repairs once it's out of warranty. Repairs that on a 3-valve 5.4 liter can include the spark plug disaster we already talked about. The new truck isn't just more expensive to buy, it can be more expensive to own. The old truck with the simple, proven 2-valve engine isn't just cheaper to buy, it's cheaper to own. These two facts together make the math very uncomfortable for anyone trying to sell you something new. What you're actually buying when you buy a new truck from a dealership is a monthly payment. You're buying a warranty that will expire. You're buying technology that will eventually need updating or replacing. You're buying into a depreciation curve that works against you from the moment you drive off the lot. And you're buying a level of complexity, turbochargers, cylinder deactivation systems, electronic everything, that simply didn't exist in 2001. Every one of those additional systems is an additional failure point. The 2001 F-150 has none of those things. It has a big, simple, naturally aspirated V8 that has been doing its job reliably for over 2 decades. That's the Triton loophole. It's not a trick. It's not a hack. It's just knowledge. Knowing that 2001, 2002, and 2003 are the 2-valve years. Knowing that the 2-valve engine doesn't have the spark plug problem. Knowing that the people who work on trucks every day choose to drive these trucks themselves. Knowing where to find one, what to look for, and what a fair price looks like. That knowledge puts you on a completely different side of this market than most people are on. Most people don't know any of this. You do now. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me what year your F-150 is and how many miles you're running. If you've got a 2-valve Triton already, tell me about it. If you've been dealing with the 3-valve spark plug problem, I want to hear that story too. And if you're in the market for a used truck and this changed how you're thinking about it, say so. This channel runs on those conversations. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Every video I put out is built on the same idea, telling you what the people who actually know about trucks know without the sales pitch. That's what we do here, and we're just getting started. My name is Wade Tucker. Go find yourself a 2001. You'll thank yourself for it.